guys, welcome back. First off, let me say, I hope you appreciated the last video. There was a lot of work that went into that, trying to get it out to you. I know it was just a little bit on the long side, and as you've seen, we're not quite done with that Jeep. I'm still waiting on, and anyway, so it's now sitting, I had it in the garage actually until this afternoon, and I moved it back out of the garage and moved this Jeep in. Moved the Jeep CJ7 in because we have an event we're going to go to, planning on next week, called the Great American Crawl. I've mentioned it on here. You've probably seen it on the Facebook site. I'm very excited about going to that. However, last time I was down there, this thing did really well. I had one major problem, well, three maybe. First off, my transfer case shifter linkage is a little janky, and I wasn't familiar with it. The more I've driven it, the more I've kind of figured it out. So I haven't really fixed the problem. I just understand the problem better, so we'll use it as is. The other issue was my front locker was not engaging. It's an ARB air locker, and it just wasn't engaging. And I figured out why a few weeks ago. There's two plugs or pigtails down here on the compressor. They plug into both sides. It's for a front and rear locker, and I had it on the wrong plug. So that was an easy fix, problem solved there. The other issue I was having was struggling with a carburetor on inclines, and Trail 15 was not kind to me because of the incline. So that brings me to where I am currently. Fuel injection. That'd be a huge bonus, as many of you already know. Some of you may not. So here's what I've been working on. All right. Here's the factory TBI system. Hopefully it's not all gummed up from where it's been sitting around. This is the unit that was originally on this motor. Here's the spaghetti wiring mess that I have spent the last couple of evenings, probably 2 hours so far, stripping out the unnecessary stuff and labeling everything else that I will need. There's a gentleman out there who had kind of shown how to make this a standalone, because he was going to do a plug and play out of a similar vehicle into an older square body. So hats off to him. I'll drop his name and link to his video in the comments when this video comes out, providing I remember. I have a tendency of forgetting things. Anyway, I've got this all labeled, identified. Hopefully it works like it should. Won't know till I get it in there. One of the other challenges is this carburetor. So carburetor has been doing extremely well. It starts good, it runs good, it's going down the road great. It is an Edelbrock, which doesn't matter to me. I was looking for reliability and functionality, and I felt like I got that out of that Edelbrock Avis 2 carburetor with the spring-loaded needle and seats stuff in it, which is supposed to help off-road. And it's done pretty good, but the steep inclines for too long, and I just start running out of fuel. Anyway, my hope is I'm able to remove that carburetor, make an adapter, and bolt on this. I don't necessarily have to, because I do have the intake that came off of this engine. I don't know. It's not that hard to remove the intake, but then I got to put the other one on it, seal it on, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, also I have to change the distributor, so I have to find the old distributor. I think I know where it's at. I just got to go looking for it in the daylight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Simple as that. Wham, bam, boom, whatever you want to call it. No, it won't be that easy. I hope it's that easy. My fear is I won't get it figured out before the event. and then I got to reverse my efforts. But if you guys have ever done this before, a vote of confidence, maybe tell me I'm stupid, whatever. Fingers crossed I can get this to work, and hopefully get it to work in time that I can do a couple other upgrades to prepare for this trip. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Let's get them ripping this carburetor off here. We're getting there. Need to get that distributor marked. I'm not going to have enough time to actually get to the point of pulling the intake off tonight. Lost some time already messing with that wiring harness. Tomorrow, when I get home, I've got another throttle body engine sitting in the back. I need to go rob some parts off of it, like the bolts that holds the TBI system on, as well as some of the sensors that I need. And I also got a cross-reference to make sure it calls for the same part number. Like I said, I got to find that distributor as well. But we are making progress, so I will get a few more components off and out of the way. See if I can get that distributor, see where that rotor button's pointing, and mark it. Got some more vacuum hoses. But yeah, I don't see any reason I won't have this thing ready. I've decided, rather than trying to take the time to modify or make an adapter plate and then modify a couple little things on here so that the TBI will bolt up to it, I need some general peace of mind. So I think I'm going to go ahead and throw the old intake, the TBI intake, on here, and that should keep things mostly where they need to be. There's still going to be some modifications, but I'm hoping that's going to keep them a little more simple. Simple is what I need right now. And functionality, of course. But anyway, that's just kind of how it's going. And we'll see what else we can get done here. Pretty clean. So that's a win. Get over there. All right, you're definitely closer. I think before I get too more involved, see, I got a temperature sensor I need to remove, distributor I need to remove, a couple of brackets, and all the intake bolts. I clean everything up, see if I got a set of intake gaskets laying around. I hope I do. I don't remember. If not, I'll have to get a set of those. And I need to get a fuel pump ordered because the inline pump that I have is only rated to like 6 psi. And I need something that's capable of 9 to 13, which is what the TBI system runs off of. I've been back and forth. I don't want to modify the tank at this point to try to install one in there. I would like to run a factory style pump, just for the ease of finding one. But I think for now I found an inline one that's very similar to the one that I have underneath there that's capable of more pressure. I will have to run a return line, which I do not have set up just yet. But I do have the lines already ran, the hard line ran. I just have to get the hoses connected. And I got to get some high pressure or fuel injection hose. So that's what I need to work on next. So I'll probably just call it a night, wash up, and start looking at getting those pieces ordered, because it'll probably take a couple days to get them in, and reassess where I'm at tomorrow. But tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be getting things cleaned up, new intake, or the old intake put back on it, get that sealed up, and then I'm going to go robbing a bunch of parts out in the field. If not tomorrow, it'll definitely be Friday. Hopefully have this thing going back together Friday or Saturday afternoon. Friday would be fantastic if I can pull that off, or mostly back together. But then I'll still have some little stuff I got to work out. It's just the way it goes. I just hope I can get it all worked out. Everything works like it should, and you know, it'd be nice to have fuel injection on those inclines. All right, we're back. Another evening, warmer, nicer. We have got to go out to the field and retrieve some parts, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago. So let's go do that. All right, we're out here at the boneyard. We're gonna snag what we can here. Ooh, I need that intake, up radiator hose intake nozzle neck thing. Anyway, let me see if I can get what I can get, and I'll show you. We'll get back up to the garage. So need this. I'll double check and see if it's... hang on a second. Apparently that's the wrong size, so let me run back over, grab another socket, get this taken care of. All right, so we did get some things that we needed, some pieces. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to play into all this, but I need them unless I decide otherwise. But here's some of the pieces that I was able to harvest off a couple donor parts or donor engines. Things like knock sensor, I may or may not need. This engine, I believe, has two. I know one is still on the engine. I'm not sure where the other one's located, or if maybe I removed it. I can't remember, but I'll have to hunt around for it. Got not that I needed the thermostat, but I believe it was fairly new when it went in that vehicle. It's a 195. If I needed anything, it was that gasket right there. Went ahead and snagged me a coil. I'm going to make sure this fits because this came off of the V6, but I think they're the same. I'll double check. And we got whatever this thing is. I think it's like evap canister stuff, but I'm not really sure. I'll have to figure that one out. Actually, I got two of them. Got two of them. There's a little bit of difference. Oh, yeah. Looks like this one's got a broken port on the back side. I'll compare the two. There's a little bit of difference in years. Got the map sensor, and of course the bracket. Actually, I have two brackets to hold all that. There's some difference between them, but we'll make them work. I needed this here, coolant neck, because I wasn't sure if the one currently on the intake was going to work. And then I found the distributor that came out of this motor that was in this motor before I transplanted it into the Jeep. So I have a box, or I probably still have, and I haven't found it. The odd and end pieces that I just went to harvest off another engine in a box somewhere. There either is or was those pieces. So I'll do some cross-referencing on part numbers to see what does interchange and what doesn't. I am taking a big chance with all the parts being used, weathered, and lack of use for a couple of years, or probably longer. So we'll test what we can, cross our fingers on the rest, and hopefully everything works. But here's where we're at on the engine. All the intake bolts are currently out of it. Ready to break the seal on this thing and remove it. I still have to check and see. There's some dirt on there. Still have to check and see if I have some intake gaskets. I think that I do, but I've said that already. Anyway, let's get set up and remove this intake, organize our pieces and parts, start cleaning up the gasket surface. Let's get things prepped to where maybe we can put this intake on tomorrow. Distributor, finish buttoning up the wiring. I'm going to go through the wiring one more time to see if there's anything else that needs to be done, removed, or see if I goofed up and removed something I wasn't supposed to. But I think I'm on the right track, at least until I'm convinced otherwise. And anyway, hang in there, guys. It's a process. All right, so if we can get this seal broke. Without losing parts. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's glued on there. nice. Grab a little persuasion. Come on. Doing things and not doing things. Oh wait, still have a bolt attached in the back. I knew that. I knew that. That's enough to keep it from popping up. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that. Yeah. Oh my. Oh. Done went and did the thing. Well, comes off there just that easy. Holy smokes. Man, that was stuck. Well, the upside is the engine's pretty clean. Can't be upset with that. All right. Wow. That stuff is impressively sticky. Yeah, I gotta get some paper down in there, some paper towels or something. Close off all the ports. And then I got a lot of scraping and cleaning to do. Be nice to get that done tonight. Get the prep work taken care of so I can be more productive tomorrow. So let me get everything plugged off. It needs to be plugged off. Get my scraping tools out. See what I got to repair from driving screwdrivers down in there. And pry bars. And we'll go from there. I think we'll leave those there for the time being, get some more parts gathered up, and see where we end up.
I make my home down in the valley. I never made it to the hill. I shine my light out in the alley. I am the only one who will. Oh, 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 oh. I guess I've always been a traveler. I do my church out in the street. I use the jacket off my back as my tithe as I give it to the beggar who's in need. Oh, friends are sick and wounded. We don't have nothing left to give, but we dance like David, love like Jacob.
All right, we're still making progress. What we like. Getting things bolted up. Let's see. You got like that on there. You see we got the distributor in, got it set to number 1, got the coil mounted, throttle cable bracket mounted. The coolant neck is in, the heater hoses are run and tightened down. So we are moving forward. Some brackets aren't exactly right. Some brackets are okay. Still trying to figure out what goes where, and we're just going to have to modify some stuff because some of the bracketry that I took off the other engine was a 4.3, and the layout, it must be a little bit different. So but anyway, we'll just kind of work through those little things and just keep plugging along. So far it seems to be going in a good direction. Let's see, tomorrow we will see about getting the wiring in here. I still don't have the what was it? The O2 sensor figured out, which wire it is. I'm struggling figuring that out. But I feel like everything else is pretty well taken care of. So we're going to go ahead and bolt this down. The fuel system is going to be a little bit different than factory. The fuel pump that I got, I may have mentioned this, is a 43 PSI pump. And if you know anything about throttle body injected, these run and operate at 9 to 13. So they do have a built-in regulator, but the factory pump only pushes up to 30 PSI. So I don't think there's any way that this regulator is going to do, the factory regulator is going to do what it needs to do. In fact, I'm worried about it blowing out. So I have another pressure regulator that has a built-in return. I gotta find it. And then I gotta look it up because I don't remember what it was rated for pressure wise. This is more of a deadhead system. When I was only pushing like whatever it was, 3 to 6 or 4 to 6 for the carburetor, it worked out just fine. That's not going to work here, and it'd be better for the fuel if I can cycle it back into the tank. Now when I built this Jeep, one thing that I did do was not only did I plumb a fuel line, but I plumbed a return line, and both lines were stainless, so I just have to tap into that and replace the rubber hoses for, I'm just for now, just to get it going, I'm gonna grab, I've already bought, I'm waiting on it to come in, some fuel injection rubber fuel line. It's good for like 300 PSI, so obviously way more than what I need. And hopefully we'll do the trick. I still need to get this plug out of the intake because I could have put a vacuum port in here. It's right here behind the throttle body because I am still running the TH400 automatic transmission, and it has a vacuum modulator on it, so it needs to sense the vacuum in order to know when and how to shift. But that plug seems to be a little stuck at the moment. Steel and aluminum. You know how it goes if you mess with this stuff. I'm going to try to run the plug wires I had on here and just kind of go from there. Oh, fuel lines. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a trick. The fuel lines will. Just because it's going to be new hose, and now I have to run a return, so. But I did get an inline pump that does not have to mount in the tank, so I don't have to modify that, at least currently at this time. It's running, it's doing things. I'm working on trying to purge the cooling system. Not convinced the thermostat's opening up, and I don't have a temperature gauge. But I mean, it should work, unless that thermostat's sticking. I'm not sure why. But we do have a little bit of a fuel leak that I have to resolve, but it is running, and it sounds pretty good. It is cold nature because it doesn't have any O2 sensor. There you have it. It's running. Seems to be running pretty good. Still lots of little things that I have to button up. As you can see, I got to go through all the wiring and try to organize that, tape up everything that needs to be taped up, try to halfway put things where they need to be, locate the computer to the inside. I'll drill a hole for the plugs. And then it's just going to be like tucked up inside very crudely just to get me through this weekend. I do have a fuel leak that I mentioned earlier. I've got to figure out exactly where that's coming from and try to solve that. It'd be nice to have a temperature gauge. I got to figure out where I can put... I like the old school manual style gauges. They're more accurate. I need to figure out how I'm going to make that work because I need a temperature sensor for the ECM. Oh, man. And I still got to burp the system. For some reason, it was struggling trying to burp to get the air out. I'm not really sure why, but I'm afraid to go much further without a temperature gauge. So, but anyway, hey, that's a win. That is a win. If I can get things buttoned up and move on to the couple other things that need to be done before the trip, I will do it. So, fingers crossed. I may see you guys at the Great American Crawl, and we'll go and hopefully have some fun and not break anything. But thanks, guys. I don't have the calluses I used to have when I used to do a lot more of this, but and you can really see, oh yeah, I can feel it. Anyway, enough about that. This is where we're at. We are still working on wiring. We've got a lot of it. We separated out everything we didn't need. And we made a bunch of individual runs, taped all those up to try to clean the whole harness up. Now I'll have to come back later and try to tidy that up again. But I'm also working on mounting the harness through the firewall and working on getting the computer on the inside. But I am done for the night. I'm beat. I need to get a fresh start tomorrow. I've got all day tomorrow to try to wrap this thing up. Actually, not this portion, but there's a couple other things that need to be done to get ready. But, all right, we're adding we're adding a couple more things that we need for this event. Something that's been needed anyway. I just haven't really needed them, but I do need them. Does that make sense? I bet it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Do you think it makes sense? It makes enough sense. Anyway, pull points, someplace to strap something to if I get in a bind or in a pickle and I need to get removed or extracted. These are set up for clevises. There's 4 of them, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. These are currently on, and I am going to go ahead and start welding because it is, I don't know, 8 o'clock Wednesday night. We're supposed to leave tomorrow, and it's been a job, it's been a chore. I'll give you guys an update on the engine status probably a little bit later in this video, but you guys will get one. Fingers crossed everything continues to perform and does what it needs to do, and we go have a good time tomorrow. But for now, we got some welding to do, and I'm in a hurry. Alright. Rear ones are on. Rinse and repeat. Gotta get things drugged to the front. We'll get those put on.